Alright everyone, this is the final part of the overview, and this is kind of the review, I guess, or my opinion on the game. Basically, it's refinement of what the past two games set out to do. You know, as the first game started with very little content, and it was a fun concept, but there wasn't a lot to do in the game. And number two pretty much amped it up, added a lot of new characters, they kind of restructured the level design and such, and they definitely made it into a much better game in 2. And 3 takes it a step up. It balances the roster a lot more. A lot of the characters got little changes here and there that make them much better, much more usable. There was a lot of characters in 2 that kind of felt like they weren't very strong or useful, and in 3 they kind of went in and made little tweaks. Some are very subtle and some are more obvious to make sure that all of the roster is fun and interesting to use. Now, there's a lot of people would say, well, this looks too much like the past two games. It is. It obviously uses a lot of assets, but the new content and the refinements makes this game very enjoyable. Probably the best thing about this game is the new characters. The new characters are a lot of fun to play as. They have very unique play styles. You can tell that Koei kind of played around more, they had more fun, and they kind of developed a lot of interesting ideas for movesets. You can see that the movesets they made for the new characters in this game are just a lot of fun and really interesting. And that's basically the most fun thing about this game, is trying out all the new characters. They're all really fun to play as, they're all pretty strong as well. And that alone makes this game worth it. The gameplay refinements are very nice, the balance changes, the assist system the assist system is something that you really want to understand. It can be kind of annoying at first, just getting the random assist calls, but when you learn how to utilize it into your gameplay, it's a very welcome feature. And there's some interesting techniques like using it to freeze time that help you follow up combos with characters in other ways besides just calling the assist for damage. So the assist system is a very interesting addition. It's something you don't even have to use if you don't want to. You know, if you don't really care for the assist, you can avoid it completely, or you can utilize it, which it only adds to the gameplay. As far as the content, the modes, the legend log, the stages are pretty long, and at times I felt like the stages dragged a bit, but I also played this game in Japanese, so I couldn't understand the dialogue. Not being able to follow the dialogue can obviously make things seem more drawn out, because I'm just trying to play the game, but there's a lot of chatter and a lot of, you know, story going on in between the missions and the gameplay. So that's something that I don't want to fully say the legend log is bad or knock it because I don't understand Japanese, but some of the stages can be pretty long, and that can kind of wear in a game like this. In Dreamlog, the Dreamlog is a really amazing mode that focuses on the gameplay and just lets you fight, you know, beat up as many enemies as you want. The maps are they're like a perfect length. They're like a good, I'd say 8 to 12 minutes. A very perfect length. They don't end quickly, so you're like, well, I wanted to play more, or they don't last too long to where you're like, this just needs to end already. The Dreamlog maps are absolutely well done. Excluding the DLC maps, which are kind of their own territory. The DLC maps are incredibly long, anywhere from like 20 minutes to an hour long, but you know, those are very special missions that you wouldn't approach as the same fashion as the other Dreamlog maps. But basically, Dreamlog is the meat of the game. It's where you're going to spend a lot of time playing. It's where you're going to just enjoy the gameplay. The Dreamlog focuses entirely on the gameplay. The story, there's not really any story or anything to it. You just go in and you play and you enjoy the gameplay. And you can do that in this game because the gameplay is really strong. There's a lot of depth in the mechanics. A lot of it isn't even explained in the game. Koei has never once explained really any of the depth this game has to offer, but there's an amazing amount of depth in the mechanics, which I've tried to show off a lot in my videos. You know, I've had a lot of positive reception from you guys that you've like enjoyed the way I play and stuff like that, or you didn't know you could do certain things like that. And you know, I'm glad that people could see that, because Koei doesn't really explain that in the game. So there's a lot of interesting depth to this game that you may not even know exists. And that's why a mode like Dreamlog is a lot of fun, because you can explore the characters, you can explore the game mechanics, and you can just focus on playing the game and having fun. You know, some people may say, well, it gets boring or repetitive, or you're just smashing buttons and stuff like that. But if you take the time to really explore the mechanics, you know, explore the characters, and just have a good time, because the gameplay is a lot of fun. It's very fast, it's very fluid, it's very enjoyable once you understand how it works. You know, I spent over 200 hours on this game, and I already pre-ordered the English version. I'm ready to spend who knows how many more hours playing the game over again once it comes out. So I highly recommend this game if you enjoy action games, if you enjoy Warriors games, if you enjoy One Piece, and if you enjoy games that have deep game mechanics that let you explore and you can feel the progression in your skill as a player. It's a very strong action title, and if you enjoy action games, basically any form of action games, this game is very enjoyable. And you know, there's always some people that may not like the game. The Warriors franchise of just beating up a lot of enemies is somewhat of an acquired taste. It's kind of a love-hate, but I think this game does a really good job at being very interesting to people, even if they normally get turned off by repetitive design or gameplay. I think this does a good job at kind of drawing people in, because it's a very fun game with a very diverse roster. Every character in this game is unique, completely unique, and has a lot of depth to them. You know, I've played all these characters, and I'm always learning new things every time I play them. So it's a very fun game. You can invest a lot of time playing it, and it's a definite improvement over the first two titles, and I highly recommend it. So far, I would have to say this is probably my game of the year. This will probably end up being my game of the year by the end of the year as well. I don't know if there's anything else that coming out this year that I will find is interesting, but right now this is easily my game of the year 2015, and I highly suggest you guys pick it up if you have even the slightest bit interest in it. So if you guys have any other questions you would like me to answer about the gameplay, the modes, anything, maybe you just still have some hesitations or on if you're gonna actually like the game or not, just feel free to ask. I'll definitely answer any questions the best I can. See you guys later, and thanks for watching.